I do not support the TPP. It is not it is not a deal that builds America and shape America the way that we want it to be. A better America, a more fair America for the working class and the middle class. The TPP, all this is just a way for the corporation to take hold power. Corporations do not build America. It is the working people. It is the power of unions and the power of skilled labor that builds a nation to become one of the greatest superpowers on the earth. It is not wealthy people who make things. It is people who are in factories. It is people who are working in Walmart. It is people who are working in McDonald's that make things. It is the laborers and their hard work. And all that the TPP does is give more money to those to the top compared to those to the bottom. The TPP is no good. I do not support free trade. Free trade has never worked. It doesn't work now. It hasn't worked in the past. And therefore, free trade should be dropped from the agenda. What we need to do is leveling the playing field. Instead of allowing more jobs to be outsourced through the TTP, what we need to do is withdraw from the World Trade Organization, withdraw from NAFTA and CAFTA, and increase tariffs to 30% on goods coming in. This will make goods more expensive. Make goods more expensive from those that are made outside of the United States. What we also need to do is to increase labor in the United States. The manufacturing base has been destroyed over the last 20 years. So what we need to do is build up the manufacturing base here in America. And what we need to do is revive Buy America First. Right now, all of our goods, even this computer that I'm talking to you on, is made in communist China. The last time I checked, communist China is not our ally. We're fighting a Cold War with them, and we're giving them all the advantage. So what we need to do is to drain them of their resources. China cannot become a superpower without trade. So what we need to do is to build our manufacturing here by putting strong tariffs and blocking their imports. This will shrink the deficit by $38 billion. And this will increase made goods in America, period. We also need to make sure that all of our unemployed labor gain experience. So what we need to do is have a tax cut on any manufacturer that is willing to hire unexperienced labor here in the United States. We also need to do away with visas. There's a lot of people in the United States who has the experience to do their jobs. We don't need an Indian doctor from India to come here to the United States. We have doctors who just graduated from med school that can't get a job because we decide to outsource all of our skilled labor to another country. We also need to decide that we're going to build our infrastructure not from Chinese steel, but from American steel, recycled here in the great nation of the United States in the state of Missouri. We need to decide that we need to be a nation that can build things again. But to build things again in the United States, and open steel plants across the United States and create demand. You create demand by increasing the wages of the laborers. To increase the laborers' wages, you increase demand and you increase consumer goods. I am for raising the minimum wage up to $15 an hour and tethering it to the price of inflation. The price of inflation has gone up because the price of wages have stagnated. Because without the price of wages holding down the price of the product, then even though that the goods are made in China, you can't really buy them anyways. So to hold down the price of inflation, raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And we're also going to lift the cap from we're going to lift the cap to solve the Medicare problem. We're going to lift the caps, the income cap of the Medicare, since the wealthy among us can pay more into Social Security. This is going to make it solvent forever. You will not have to worry about it. I also believe that free trade is not a free trade. It's not a fair trade because it gives corporations the advantage. We also want to make sure that these corporations do not get the advantage of into free trade by enforcing the anti-Sherman Trust Act. I'm going to break up the big banks because the big banks are too big to fail. Going to resolve Glass-Steagall into law. Going to do something. I'm going to make venture capitalism illegal. Going to reinstall Glass-Steagall, where someone like Bain Capital cannot come in and squeeze all the wealth from your factory. I'm also going to protect you. I'm going to protect you from Wall Street. We're going to do a major overhaul of the Wall Street reforms. We're going to make sure from now on, when you buy a share, they'll give you a return. No more gambling Wall Street. We're going to make sure that they're going to be money generators, not casino bits. Because when you pay into Wall Street, like Walmart, they're going to turn around and give you a return. Like if I invest 5 gold coins and my shop turns around and gives me 20, then that's how we're going to do it. I also support labor. I support big unions. I believe that we need to increase the powers of unions. Increase the power of unions as we can gain and to increase the middle class. When labor is strong, then everyone is strong. When labor benefits, then everyone benefits. You, your mom, your grandma, your grandpa. Everyone benefits from strong unions. Even our politicians. Our politicians benefit from unions because they get donations from unions and what have you. We're also going to strike down right to work laws. I'm also going to break up ALEC by using the Anti-Sherman Trust Act. ALEC is not a place. It's not a charity. It is backroom dealings, no transparency on the part of the politicians who are writing the laws for big corporate interests. What we need to do is say, ALEC, you have violated your non-profit and non-political IRS standings, and we're no longer going to recognize you as the organization. ALEC's job is to pass model legislation behind me, you, and everyone's backs. I'm going to make sure that becomes illegal. And I'm also going to increase schools, going to increase infrastructure. I'm going to invest into speed rail technology, clean energy, and I'm going to there's many bridges that need to be repaired, so I'm going to repair them by hiring, because government is the last hirer of defense. If there is no demand in the economy, it is government that expends money and builds projects. The government comes in and says we need to build infrastructure. I look around my home state and I see there's a lot of things that we can do. We can build bridges. We can put in new sewers. We can put in a smart grid. And the investments is going to be greater. And to support all this, I support the 75% taxes on the wealthiest of Americans, the top 1%. They need to pay their fair share. And I'm also going to put a Wall Street tax. This is going to fund the constructions of the buildings. To do this, I'm going to raise the debt ceiling to the long term. The long-term debt ceiling for 4, probably 10, 20 years. Because we need to borrow money first for these investments. And then we're going to collect the tax revenue from our investments to pay off the debt. You're going to see the debt rise a little bit. And then you're going to see the debt comes back down. All the way down to where the debt is balanced. Because, it is labor that builds America, not Wall Street. You see, a country needs to control its banking. And when the banksters control banking, that is when it's destructive. When banking has more power than the government, that's when it becomes dangerous. When big banks control everyday lives, it leaves a void for the little people. So I will break up Bank of America, the big banks, and I'm going to break them up into smaller little banks, since they're no longer going to be too big to fail. And I'm going to also make them a mandate, since we bail them out. Since you and me were shareholders of Bank of America, you're going to get your monies back. We're going to issue everyone a return investment from Bank of America once that we break them apart by using the Anti-Sherman Trust Act. We're also going to close many of our military bases from the Middle East. We're going to draw back. And we're going to shrink the military to make it into a defensive size. And we're also going to weaken the military-industrial complex that has been built since World War II. We're only going to go to war unless we are attacked or provoked. Because war is pointless. A lot of people die, some blood here, some guts spilled over there. It's not really a pretty sight, you know? The NSA. What we're going to do with the NSA is that we're going to re-nationalize it. Because right now, NSA isn't really a government agency. It is a private industry. We're going to re-privatize it. We're going to repurpose it. And we're going to dismember it. We're going to make it smaller. Because the NSA is too powerful. They can read emails. You can arrest people, what have you. So we're going to restrict the power of spying in the United States and elsewhere. We're going to pass laws that forbid them from spying on American citizens without a warrant. We're going to forbid them from spying on other governments across the world. We're going to make it illegal for them to hear us communicating from our computers. And we're going to make it illegal for them to spy on foreign leaders, such as the German Prime Minister. With these policies, the United States of America can become a great nation again. Like it should be. Like it has been. The United States can become something great again. We can do things like no other nation can. We can build infrastructure. We can build the future here in the United States. We can build cars here. If we put our mind to it, we can do it here in the United States and build manufacturing. Because what the people really need is jobs. I support a jobs bill. I support building the nation that I want for my children to live in, for my nephew to live in, and for my grandchildren to live in. That's all I want. And if I had to be a write-in candidate for the United States Congress, then what the hell? Write my name in, Missouri. I'm your guy. Support me. Like me. Subscribe to my channel. Donate. What have you, what you want. Because, people need a candidate that speaks for themselves. I speak for you. I speak for my sister, my brothers. I speak for everyone in my state, not just the corporate powers. Me, I'm the perfect candidate. I have no money. I'm broke. I am close to the people. And together, with you, my fellow Missourians, to my back, we can build a great state. We can build the most powerful nation in the world. As your representative to the Senate or Congress, I am your man. I may not look like it, but I know a thing or two about politics. I know how they talk. I know how they act. I know when someone says this, I know what they really mean. When Republicans say we support small business, Really? They say that we support big business. I am your man. This is William Finks, the write-in candidates. Subscribe, support, and spread the word.